afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Kosick. I'm the senior pastor of the Little Brown Church, and on behalf of our congregation, I welcome you here for the celebration of life for Judith. It is, I believe, was Judith married at the Little Brown Church?
Yes.
Yes, and so it's wonderful that we're able to host this as well. So as we move forward in the service, Uncle Jaya, there you are, has a few words to share with us.
Hi everybody, good afternoon. I have been asked to say a few words by Judy herself. She had mentioned that she wanted me to say a few words. First of all, I must say that we're sorry that Dennis isn't here. My brother Dennis, unfortunately, is not doing very well health-wise. But one thing he wanted me to mention is that this is the church where Shan and Judy got married, and that was in 1961.
61.
61, I said. Yeah. And also, it just so happens that this church is famous for somebody else who got married here, and his best man was William Holden. There's a reason why I mentioned this, because it's a coincidence. When I mentioned it to Evelyn, she said, "Who cares?" So I said, "But I have to know the facts." You know? And but that's my little niece. Anyway, we're here to celebrate a wonderful occasion. And now let me finish this thing about William Holden. That was in 1951 at the wedding of Nancy Davis and Ronald Reagan. And so anyway, funnily enough, when my brother Chandran came to this country, the first job he got was thanks to William Holden, who made sure he had a good job with Warner Brothers at the time. So that's very important, and yes, a little bit of trivia. Anyway, I'm here because Judy wanted me to say a few words, and it's funnily enough, it was yesterday, 60 years ago, that my mother, whom we used to call Amma, she passed away. And I remember on that day when I thought, where the heck are we going to be 10 years, 20 years from now? Because we were all feeling very lost at that time. Anyway, my mother was able to meet with Judy when she came over with Eastbury to get treatment for Eastbury, and that was exactly, anyway, she passed away 60 years ago. She was only 52. My mother was loved by many, including very much by her daughter-in-law Judy. Fortunately, Amma got to know Judy, and also she got to see her grandsons, James and Daniel, before she passed away. I don't like to do eulogies only because I get too emotional, which was proven at my brother Raja's funeral service, where I broke down. Judy wanted me to speak today, and I'm doing so because today we are not mourning her. Instead, we are celebrating the life of a great lady, Judith K. Rutnam, of the city of Moberly in Missouri. That's how she pronounced it. We pronounce it Missouri, she called it Missouri. I first got to know Judy when I visited Los Angeles from London. This was in the early 60s. My mother and Iswari were already here visiting. We had a great time with the Chandra and Rutnam family on Squinlan Drive in Burbank. Judy at that time, and ever since, was a hard worker, mostly as an executive secretary to presidents of large corporations. She was secretary to the president of American Potash and Chemical Company, and executive secretary to the president of a leading franchise company, and also secretary to the president of Beneficial in Los Angeles. When she was at Beneficial, Judy was elected as president of the Los Angeles Secretaries Association. I remember when she arranged and organized a huge banquet at the Coconut Grove of the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. She even had some of the members of the Beverly Hillbillies cast as guest speakers. Now, a few things I'm going to say today will be repeated, I'm sure, by the other speakers, but I don't mind that. Just you'll have to put up with that. I'm sorry, but as much as we have to, there's so much that we can say about Judy, because she did impact the Rutnam family's life, and many others too, including the Veera Singers and the Manikathungars, and my sister's families, and on and on. When Amma passed away in Ceylon, that's my mother, Judy was sent to Ceylon to be with us. It was decided by Chandran and Judy that they should make Amma's dream come true of bringing the Rutnam children to settle in America. It was me, Iswari, Paddy and George that first came over in the early 60s. Dennis came later. Chandran and Judy had just bought a 5-bedroom house on Tropico Way to accommodate us. Judy accepted us with open arms and saw that we were comfortable and happy, as we were all still stunned by my mother's untimely passing. All of us lived with Chan and Judy for many years. Patty and George went to school. Iswari worked in a Montessori school, and I joined the Southern Pacific Railroad Company. These days with Chan and Judy, James, Daniel, and Evelyn were a lot of fun. Christmas and Thanksgiving at the Rutnams was spent in grand style. Silanese in Los Angeles were regular invitees, including the Harry Hathra family, who are still very close to us. Judy was also very close to Rosie Auntie, who was settled in Los Angeles at that time. We have many wonderful memories of those days at Rosewood Avenue. Judy was accepted and loved by the whole Rutnam family, including my father, and she in turn genuinely loved us. She would be the first person to be there when any of us was sick or in hospital. She would not only visit, but she would stay the night. She loved all of us unconditionally. Raja and Patsy, Indrani and Patrick, Gina, Iswari and Renee, Dennis, Patty and John, George and Sonia, and all the kids. Judy was a designated speaker at family functions, such as weddings, birthdays, and funerals. She was always eloquent and to the point. We were proud of her when she spoke. She spoke with so much feeling. When dignitaries from Ceylon visited Los Angeles, Chandran was always at the airport to greet them. On one occasion, Chandran was not available, and I remember Judy, who was 8 months pregnant with Evelyn at the time, drove to the airport to pick up the Ceylon Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, and the Governor of the Central Bank. Shan and Judy hosted lavish parties for these important people and also took them to places like Las Vegas. Although Shan and Judy were divorced for 30 years, they weren't really divorced. Chandran always included her in her travels on location to various countries like Malaysia. Chandran would reminisce that they had a great time while making the movie A Common Man. Judy continued to be close to Chandran's wives, Natalie and Nihara, who both loved her very much. My cousin Roger was very close to Judy. He gave her a job to work with him in educating young kids of the fine game of chess. She enjoyed this immensely and continued to be one of Roger's and Helen's closest friends. Having been retired from being in business, thanks to Gina's mama, Judy got a position managing the St. Nicholas Creek Orthodox apartments in the valley. The residents loved her and depended on her. She treated the residents warmly and with compassion. This job gave her a lot of satisfaction. She worked in this position till her illness got worse, and she remained as a resident of the apartments. Patsy would always visit her and take her out for meals. Therese was also a constant visitor. Judy was also very close to Lucy Auntie and Rutnam Uncle. In her later years, Judy suffered from lung problems and was taken care of and lived with her daughter Evelyn and son-in-law Yusuf. After which she moved to be with her son Daniel and daughter-in-law Shelley in Vancouver, BC. They took excellent care of her till her passing. Judy loved her children, James, Daniel, and Evelyn. She saw her eldest son grow up to be the wonderful person he is, the handsome James. She was proud of his business ventures and his musical talents. She was proud of her second son, Daniel, and his wife, Shalana. Shelley. And their children, Diana and Natasha. Judy was fortunate to see her grandkids married to two wonderful gentlemen. I can attest to that. Judy was also proud of her daughter Evelyn, who I am told has many of the traits of her mother. She loved her son-in-law Yusuf and their children, Yusuf Jr. and Kumara. Yes, Judy was blessed to see her children grow up and also to enjoy her grandchildren. Judy was a wife, a mother and grandmother, and sister to all of us. And this gives us reason to celebrate this wonderful lady's life. We love you, Judy. You lived a good life. You left a lasting legacy in your family. We will never forget you and your beautiful smile. Thank you.
Just in time, just about 10 minutes. So anyway, Judy, my relationship with Judy started when I was 10 years old. We came to the country and there was Chandranini and she was one. She was sweet then. She's still but she couldn't talk, so that was so with where do I start with Judy? Okay, let's start with a smile. Okay, she walks into a room like, and she's totally captivates everybody. She just makes an entrance. That smile you saw that you guys put out there is exactly what you got always. You could never tell she was having a bad day. Who's hurt her? whether she's crying, because I lived with her. You know, so the time I lived with her, I was very fortunate. So lot of time I'd gone through. James was with us in Camaro. Gone through a lot of things. I've gone through the things I had to go through. And there I was with Judy after we just met and decided we could help each other. And it was a couple of years, I think. Yeah. So that made us knowing. She knew me as a child, so she was like my second mother, third mother. She was that close, and we had an affinity. We communicated really well. She and I like to talk. Okay, and we talked about all of it. you, loves her. And you know what? In everything that we talked about politics, religion, struggles, ex-wives, ex-husbands, children. It was really a nice moment for me because I had just gone through this, that. I had a girlfriend, and then that ended. So there was Judy, and I was there, and we were busy doing some work. She wasn't. I was in the children's programs, and she didn't like children too much, but she tried very hard. So I said, "You just work out all the details for me." So anyway, that worked out really well. But we got to know each other really well, and we went out. There was hardly any stress. She'd never show anything. She had to sort of deal with me a little bit because I like to drink a little bit too much. But I mean, it never got ugly. So here's a strange thing. Talking about how close we were, because we talked about everything. We understood each other. There was no ill will on her part at all to anybody. Me, the jury's out, but with her, no. So it was a pleasant time with her, and one thing we did, interesting thing that I was thinking of that really touched me, because I've always been a Christian. Not always, actually. I was only once. But we used to discuss these things. We didn't agree on politics much. But with religion, we had mixed marriages, and I said, I need to go to church. You coming? I didn't care which church, because I didn't belong to a church, but I need to get the word. So there was a convenient one right across the street, and she would come. And she'd be with a coffee. She's an avid reader. By the way, I'm going to sidestep for a minute. She was great with the language, English. And I had tutors all along. Juliet was one. I don't know if anyone was here. And then there was Judy, and then where's my wife, Helen, another English teacher. So I got 3 great English teachers. She was spectacular, really. She, anything I wanted to ask about grammar, she knew. She was perfect at it because she had a great job too, and she was really good at it. So I learned a lot from her. But besides that, going to the church across the street, I went once. She wouldn't come. I said, "Come on, let's go." No, she wouldn't come. It's okay, fine. Then the third time, I went in there and I didn't realize what the yellow ribbon stands for. And then I realized and this guy was helping me with the chorus singing. It was really good. Obviously these people are this way, that way. And I didn't realize who I was with. So I came and told her. She laughed about the whole thing. She did end up coming once. And that moment I remember really well. But also the fact that she said, we used to talk about religion more and more, because one thing I don't think most people know is that I think she grew up in a very Christian home. But she didn't admit to anything until later on. She said, well, Daniel said, it's not doing it for me, I need more. And we were getting to these subjects. It was interesting because at the end of all this, after we split up, moved out, she moved here, I said, we started talking about religion again. Well, she had started reading the Bible. I don't think she told anybody, but that's what she told me towards that latter part of life. She had started reading the Bible. So I feel really blessed to have been that close to her. I've been very lucky. Her, Indranyaka, you know. My mother I was really close to, and then I got a beautiful wife. And so I would say that she's there, 4 of them, right? Those 4 have been that close to me. And I was very lucky because when I think of Mom, I think she's still alive. She hasn't gone away. I feel that way about my mother, and I know how to feel that way about a few people that I've been close to. So I feel she's here, and it's nothing to be sad about because we agreed on where we go after. So I was good with her, she was good with me, you know, and we could talk about anything. I would tell her if she had to go here or there. I said, well, why? This, that. I could ask her these questions, and then she says, I said, no, you gotta do what you gotta do. I had to ask her anyway. You know, we had that communication, we had that trust, and the freedom of sharing ideas. So I was really blessed to have her in my life. At that point, I needed her strongly, and she fulfilled the need, and I think I helped her as well, you know. And so what I would say is that I think about her a lot as I do the ones I'm really, really close to. I think about my mother a lot, and I feel they're with me. I don't feel that they're gone. I think they are more with me now than they were before. It's a great feeling to have because I don't feel sadness, I feel joy. And I know where she's at. So it's good. It's a good place. And you know one thing about Judy, she had nothing negative to say about anybody. She loved you. And the kids, grandkids, I'm totally proud of you, you know, son-in-law, daughter-in-law. And the children, you know, she was no judgment. She worked with them. She has a few struggles. We shared a few little things. I wouldn't share anything, but you know what? I share a lot of things with her as well. But so here we are. Got to say that I'm blessed, you know, to have had her by my side. And I would say that I'm part of the family forever because of that. I was the other child. So anyway, God bless her. And God bless everybody else. All right.
Good afternoon, everybody. Nana was a very, very special person. You know, she was, I don't know if most of you know this, but she was a very big sports fan. She loved her Lakers, she loved the Cowboys, and she had so much knowledge about sports. You know, I used to go, what happened to your daughter? Like, she don't have like none of this. You know what I mean? But she knew, you know, she would hang around. But I'm just saying, no, I know. But she knew so much about the Lakers. She knew about the trades. She knew about the ownership, the coaches, the players. And I mean, she knew a little bit about everything. You know what I'm saying? She just had that special thing about it. We talk a lot about, like, you know, with the franchises, because of the business, we always talk as much business as I could get out of her, you know, at times when she'd come over and watch sports, and even before that, her franchising, the companies, Fatburger she had to do, and just different things that she would always talk about. And I was like, man, Daddy, you was doing that back then? You know, so come to find out, you know, she had a business mind, she was smart, she was creative, you know, and it was just so good to know that about her, because that's the other side of her. It was just my mother-in-law, someone who loved and respected me, and I always loved her for that, you know. She knew how to take care of her daughter, so she was, once she found that out, it was all good. We were like the closest you could get, you know. So for that, you know, she was just the best person I could think of, the sports, you know, me and Yusuf, she'd come over, we watch the game together. She just had so much knowledge that she would share with everybody. And that's probably gonna be the most that I'll miss about her is, you know, watching the games, knowledge of certain things that she could talk about without a blink. She could just tell you, I know about that, I know about that, and just give you a little bit, 10 minutes of it, like that, you know. She just had that. She was so knowledgeable and smart, and it was such a blessing to have her in my life, my children's life. I'm so glad they got to know her. She was just a very, very special person. And I would probably say the most important thing about her that I can think about now as she's been gone is that the moments that we would all get together for Christmas, Thanksgiving, especially Thanksgiving. She was very, very, very important about Thanksgiving, all of us coming together. That had to be done. You know what I mean? She just you had to come for Thanksgiving, whatever. We went to Dallas a couple of times. She was okay. All right, that's 2 times. Next year, you make sure you're here. You know, so family was always important to her. You know, so she always had that. And then being in the family long enough, and then find out about the Rutnam family, and come to find out all the sacrificing and love that she gave. Come to find out she was the rock of the family. Took it a whole nother step. So I'm like, man, this woman was something else. You know, it's just there's no end to what she was able to do, what she did do. You know, it was just amazing the sacrifice and the love that she did and to build a family. That her foundation was built in that, and to see it in fruition today, that we see that and love that, that's a blessing, man. And for everybody, that's one of the things you'll never forget about her. Because as loving as she was the rock of this family. She was one of the pillars of the foundation that built it off. And you'll never forget that. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here today as we gather to remember and celebrate the life of Judith, better known as Nana to me. It is a testament to the impact Nana had on all of us that so many of you have come to honor her memory. Being one of Judith's granddaughters, I have the privilege to know her in a unique perspective, and I hope to share that with you today. Nana was smart, kind, and welcoming to everyone. She also had a great sense of humor. Nana had a great strength within her and was very courageous. She was an advocate for civil rights and equality, and she was strong for those who are not able to stand on their own. She has inspired me to do the same in my own life. She taught me to be independent, confident, and never stop believing in myself. Nana brought so much joy into my life by just being her. The way she would laugh out loud at the movies in full bliss, to criticizing the Lakers when they were losing, to enjoying Frank Sinatra every time his music was on. I will never forget our Jeff Reading marathons, eating ice cream together, me sitting on the counter in the kitchen as she made meatloaf, bugging her if I could help, watching Singing in the Rain and On the Town. These and many more memories I will keep forever. Nana was always there for me. She always sent the most beautiful birthday cards on my birthday, as she did with many of you. She would call to wish me happy birthday and to check in to see what I've been up to. She was always there to support me during my biggest achievements, and even though she will not be there anymore, I know she's still cheering me on. Nana meant the world to me. I miss her very much, but I find comfort in knowing she's at peace with other loved ones that are no longer with us. I believed when someone is passed, they turn into a star, and I would like to think she is shining over us each day, sending love, strength, and support from a distance, but still lighting up the sky as she did when she entered a room. I love you, Nana, with my entire heart. Not a day goes by where I don't miss you. Thank you for the lessons, the memories, and the love. I love you, Nana.
miss you. I wish I had more time with you. When I was told that you would like me to speak here today, I had a hard time wrapping my head around how to approach this, how to communicate what you mean to me. It just feels too personal and too private to share with the world. I have many core memories with you. That have helped me become the woman I am today. You are amazing and strong and loved us all so full-heartedly. To have been blessed by that love every day, as a child to my adult years, has impacted me and how I approach every aspect of my life. Your love was so unconditional that it made me feel so lucky to be a part of your world. Nana, you have given me a voice. You showed me how to lead, how to use my words to change the world in the way that I teach. I now get to show children every day how to be strong, determined, and compassionate because of how you showed me growing up. I found my love of reading from you, from that first Harry Potter book to building my own personal library. I will miss calling you just to chat about what book you're reading and for you to fess up how many books you were actually reading at one time. I will miss that laugh of yours that could fill a room. I could pick that out anywhere with my eyes closed. Every time I watch Mamma Mia, I will hear that laugh and that exasperated groan you get anytime you hear your husband try to sing. Because you said he was just absolutely in torture when he was trying to sing. I miss you, Nana. I wish I had more time to feel your love, hear your laugh, and see your smile. I love you, Nana, so much. Much love. Deanna Banana.
Everybody for coming. One thing about Nana was she had love for everybody in here, that's for sure. Family was very important to her, and I just want to thank her for being my Nana, who was always there for me, for us, growing up, all those wonderful memories at the Westlake House. If you know, you know. Best house ever. Christmas morning with her, and all the meals, all the good times. I'll forever be in my heart. And she's one of the few women, probably the only woman in the family that loved the Lakers and the Cowboys as much as me and my dad. So, shout out to her for that. She was awesome. She would text me, "Did you see that Laker game last night? Like, what is so-and-so doing?" I'm like, she was watching it again. Love that about her. So just want to thank her for all those wonderful memories, and may she rest in peace. We love Miss Nana. Now she gets to play among the stars with Frank. Love you, Nana. Thank you.
My Nana always showed up to all the important events in my life. She picked me up from school in her Cadillac and helped me with my homework, showed up to my volleyball games, my fashion show and graduation. She loved to host a good party, which I'm sure my mom and I got from her. Yusuf and I would help her set up her holiday parties at St. Nicholas Apartments, and her tenants would come up to us and share how much they appreciated her for who she is and for always creating a space for everyone to come together and socialize with one another. Nana, thank you for teaching me strength, for teaching me how to value yourself and your independence no matter what. I'll forever cherish the times we'd all watch movies together, our drives to your doctor's appointments, our walks, and my workouts that you absolutely hated. Nana, I'll miss and love you forever.
All right. Calm down. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for what you said so far, covering a lot of my speech. Yeah, we are here to celebrate my mom, Judith, Judy, Auntie Judy, Mom's Nana, to celebrate her life, her big life. I want to thank Evelyn for putting this together and all of her great ideas. As Uncle Jaime said, this is the church where my parents got married. I don't know how they found it. It's great. About for the yellow pages, I guess. There's some controversy whether they got married in 1960 or 61. I'm going with 60. Right. Not necessary. You want something like that. Let's go with what I say. All right, this is not the easiest thing. Over the years, you know, my mom was asked to make many speeches like this, as Uncle Jaime said, and she was very sentimental about these things. I, on the other hand, not so sentimental, but I will lean into it today for her. You know, and I know Mom would be very pleased that everybody could be here, you know, the way you are, and because family and friends were the most important thing in her life. Few people I've ever known lived a life as fully or as big as my mom did. She lived a really big life, and putting this together with Evelyn and Daniel, you know, just reminded me of that. She did seem to have a remarkable independence long before I was born. Moving from a small town in Missouri and coming to LA, and then at one point living in Sri Lanka, as Uncle Jaime said, I don't know how many people from Moberly lived in Sri Lanka. I don't know how many people from Moberly have heard of Sri Lanka. But when I step outside of this, I could see she had a big life, and I really try to see everything she did. And she and Pops, my dad, you know, they moved the starting line for me and Daniel and Evelyn, and they moved the starting line from where they started. You know, we didn't have to start in Moberly. You know, we started here in LA, and I've always tried to pick things up from the starting line that they gave us, and I've been very fortunate that way. And as was talked about, you know, my mom and my dad were close her whole life. It's a real love story there. Married and then great friends, and they were talking almost daily for years and years. And we were all together when they last FaceTimed and reminisced about the old days. She was able to remember all the names and places and details about those days. And I don't want to get repetitive of what we wrote in the program, but Mom had one brother that she was not raised with. They were not close. And I don't know how they did things back in Moberly, but here's another story, because with Pops came an instant huge family that she held on tight to from the very beginning. That she held on tight to from the very beginning. So obviously I don't see brothers-in-laws and sisters-in-laws. I see her brothers and sisters. See, I can be sentimental. I wrote that here. It says, see, I can be sentimental. All right, my dad is in Sri Lanka, so I'm going to interrupt my thing, and I'm going to read a letter that he wrote. So, all right. My dad couldn't make it. He's in Colombo. And this is, my dad wanted me to read this. So here we go. It's titled Judy. And my meeting with Judy, again, it's my dad. My meeting with Judy at the Trails Inn in Burbank in the late 1950s was a groundbreaker. Not just for me, but for 2 generations of Sri Lankans. She was responsible for the movement of several families from Colombo to Los Angeles. A young girl from the conservative Midwest of America, Moberly, Missouri, was introduced to the Asian way of life, and she loved it. Judy and I were grateful for the gift that God gave us. 3 wonderful children, James, Daniel, and Evelyn. She was proud of them. I am proud of them. Even more by the way they handled the latter years of Judy's declining health and the present goodbye, adhering to Judy's instructions. Judy and I never had a dull life. The word boring never entered the vocabulary of our lives. We traveled the world, a camel ride in Egypt, climbing Sigiriya and the Eiffel Tower, and sailing down the river in Kalimantan, right, in Malaysia? Okay. In Indonesia, everywhere. She appreciated the different cultures and the diversity of life, maybe a little more than I do. All right. Judy lived in Sri Lanka for 2 years, caring for the family after the untimely passing of my mother, sharing grief with my father, who wrote me many times with words of love and adoration for Judy. Judy and I were entrusted with the care of the family. A year later, we brought 4 of my siblings to a home that she quickly set up, working 2 jobs while taking care of our 2 children. And these were difficult times, but Judy did it with a sense of duty and a responsibility which she felt was entrusted to her. Judy was always there for the families in time of distress, pain, and joy. Judy was involved in most of my business activities and enjoyed its risks and rewards. We were both thrilled as we accepted our film awards together in Las Vegas. Lastly, we enjoyed the production of the film A Common Man that was filmed on location in Sri Lanka. She was there helping us during the shoot in Sri Lanka that she loved, and she was a key player during post-production in Los Angeles. I talked to her on the phone almost every day before her passing. My children arranged a great gift of a wonderful, loving, and happy FaceTime call 2 days before she passed. I must especially thank Shelley and Patsy for all you both have done for Judy. You gave her happiness and care. Judy, you have left us, but your caring and loving memory will linger on. You were the rock we built our dreams on throughout your life. You passed each test, leaving great memories to inspire us. Goodbye, my love. So that's my dad. All right. I still have to. Roger talked about this a little bit, because throughout my life, it always seemed like my mom was the most popular person in the room, smiling and laughing all the time. And throughout the years, just super popular with family and friends, even with strangers. Because many times, we'd go somewhere like a store or whatever, and she would just be talking away with somebody she didn't even know, and I'd be like, why are you talking to that person? But that was her style, making friends everywhere. Now, because of her, I've done a lot of interesting things. Like gone to a lot of ERA rallies, Equal Rights Amendments rallies, in the late 70s and 80s. It's like time to go marching for equal rights with Mom. So I have that catalog of things I've done because of her. Big giant group, thousands of women, they're all angry. I went to those things. Okay, we used to have these posters for the ERA in the house, a half a dozen in the living room. I'd say it's too much. There's too many of them. She said, well, I want them. And in those days I worked at Air Brothers Framing, so I'd get them framed for her. And Then we had the Frank Sinatra posters framed everywhere, in the living room, in her bedroom. And again, I'm like, it's too much Frank. You can't have too much Frank. And this is every house, you know, in Brentwood, in the Valley, in Westwood Village, in North Hills, Frank, everywhere. You know, she was a vibrant, kick-ass type of lady. She had a great approach to life. She was always up for a new experience, a new adventure, whether it's the cruises, flying around the world, working on movies, her trips to Malaysia with her friend Nita. And, she'd always go see Nita in Branson, Missouri, almost every year. And that's where, like, the music hotspot of Missouri, Branson. She'd bring me back, every time she'd bring me back a t-shirt with a guitar on it. So a lot of my friends think, you know, I've been to Branson, but I've never. Okay, so her generosity with her time, her energy, her advice, and in so many other ways, provided invaluable support to a remarkable number of people. I don't know too many people who met my mom and didn't have something wonderful to say about her. She truly had a gift to connect the people and make them feel special. When she was lived in North Hills, she was the manager of her apartment building, and whenever we visited there, the people seemed excited to meet us, basically because they loved my mom. And Auntie Patsy remembers North Hills, obviously, and she was a constant presence there, helping Mom out, as was Evelyn, Kamara, and Yusuf. All right, so Mom really tried to stay tough as she got older, you know, with all the doctor's visits and all of that. She was making jokes and really trying to have a good time with us right into her final weeks. Evelyn and I would go to Vancouver and we'd have fun hanging out with her all the time, seeing Daniel and Shelley on the front lines, taking care of her, and all that eventually entailed. We're grateful for Daniel and Shelley for doing everything they did, taking care of her. Many times I called there, and even though they were going through a lot, they stayed positive and it sounded like they were having a good time. We're happy that so many of you guys were able to go up there and visit her. This is not one of those situations where nice things are said about her and she's not here to hear them. She knew. Everybody told her all the time. And the birthday parties we had for her, especially her 80th birthday, you know, she was able to tell us how she felt about us. So, to Mom, I know you wanted to be the best mom you could possibly be, and you nailed it. Achieved that for sure. I'm sad that you're gone. It feels way too early. It feels impossible. I'll miss you every day for the rest of my life. I'm not going to end on that note, because I know it might be difficult for people to come up after me. I said, it's a celebration of life. And all the celebration of the fun we had. We had all the ups and downs that all families have, and we've had a lot of fun making fun of all the ups and downs that we had. But I know Mom will live in my heart forever, and I will always be extremely proud to call myself one of Judith Rutnam's kids. So to Mom, in the words of Frank Sinatra, fill my heart with song, let me sing forevermore. You were all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you.
Thank you, James. Thank you very much.
Well, hello, and thank you for coming. Today, to help us celebrate my mom and the full life that she lived. When I was asked to speak by my brother and sister, I didn't know what to say. They said, just tell stories about mom and memories of how you feel. So with that, just have what any son would maybe say if I were to like tell a story of my mom. I would say, oh well, you know, remember the time we came home, me and James were horsing around, and mom caught us and got all upset. Or maybe the time that mom was helping James learn how to drive. Or a time where we sat listening to Sinatra, stringing popcorn on a string for Christmas Eve. When I'm thinking of my mom, I'm brought back to memories of her just being my mom. From mom to mums to mommy, this is what I've called my mom, just by those names alone. So all the wonderful stories of Judy and Judith and how she has impacted your lives as well is so lovely for us to hear. Because, you know, she never missed an opportunity to send a card or to remember an anniversary or a special occasion. The one thing you all don't know is that she kept every card. Every card you ever sent, every memory, every note, every keepsake she kept from all of you. I know because I've gone through everything and I have boxes and boxes and boxes filled. I'll say more than 3 and just less than a dozen of beautiful memories that she's kept from all of you. My mom was a very hardworking single mother. She raised 2 boys that were handfuls individually, let alone together, and a beautiful daughter who was dealing with juvenile diabetes. And she still found time to make a point to show us to care for others, to take that time to look at other needs. There was a time when me and my brother were very young, and we were living in Colorado, and she took us to a senior citizen center, and she gave us a handful of hard candy and a thing of oranges, and she asked us to distribute them to the people inside the senior center. And she said, you know, some of them are lonely and they're unable to do it for themselves, and it would make them happy. And we did that as small children. And then at a later time, when I was older, in Sri Lanka, where my father's from, she took me to the fort. I believe it was St. Thomas's Church in Colombo. And she had a very large number of food packets with her, and we went and we distributed to the people there at St. Thomas's. And when she was doing this, she turned to me and said, "This is what Amma had done. This is something you should remember. And if you can, try and do yourself, to do this yourself." And then some years later, I found out that she did the same thing with my wife, who was pregnant with my daughter at the time, my first daughter. And they had done the same thing where they distributed the food packets. And she said the same thing to my wife. So, my mom, you know, for me was everything. She helped me through everything in my life, my marriage, every idea I had, any dream, anything that was on my mind I could share with my mother. She was always there for me, always willing to support me. She gave me nothing but support and love. I should say us, but right now I'm just gonna think of myself. And then I found out that others were doing the same thing, that she would find the time to share and to lend an ear to a lot of other people in our family. So I wasn't surprised to hear this, but it's just nice to know. So my stories are more or less simple. Just my mom being my mom, helping me ride my bike, tucking me in at night and kissing my forehead, loving my children like she loved me, just being a wonderful mother. So I love you, Mom, and I thank you. And thank you all also for sharing this and being here with us today.
Hello. I'm Judith's daughter, if you don't know. It's just a letter I'm writing to my mom. Sorry. Dear Mommy, I start out by calling you Mommy instead of Moms because I feel like I've reverted back to being your little girl. I did not realize how hard this would be knowing you are no longer with me. I never thought that I wouldn't have you anymore. Sorry. Which has caused an emptiness in my heart forever. Thank you. I was happy when I sat with you and thanked you for being a great mom. And I told you I don't know how you did it all on your own with 3 small children. And with your funny reply of, hello. I'm so deeply sorry for getting super mad at you, for not having your medicines with you when you needed them. I realized later it was not your fault. And I'm so deeply sorry for yelling at you. Please forgive me. You have always been my rock with any problems I've had. I knew you would always be on my side, even if I were wrong, which we all know is seldom. You always taught me about equality. If a man can do it, so can we. This is one of the reasons why I am so strong. I thought I got my toughness from my aunts, but I also got it from you, which is double the trouble. Sorry guys, it's not my fault. You love throwing parties, sending birthday cards to everyone, and loving our Rutnam family. You were very detailed and organized, even with your wishes upon your passing. James, Daniel, and I have followed what you wanted and will continue to do so. You are the best mommy, and I will miss you deeply. I love you forever.
Uncle John, my one side of my family is from St. Joe, Missouri, and they will say Missouri. Is the correct pronunciation. Let us have a prayer. Most Holy God, we thank you for this time together, this time of laughter and tears and memories and stories and shares. But most importantly, we thank you for the life of Judith. We thank you for sharing her with us in this world, and we thank you for each interaction with her, because she has changed every single person in here. She has touched every single life of the people in this room, and for that we acknowledge her as a gift. It's in your Son's name we pray. Amen. Anyone that you want to make an announcement about what's happening? Reception.
After this, 4 o'clock, we're having the reception. It was on the initial invite, the address, but if you don't have the address, I've got a bunch of cards in the back. I'll give you the address, right? We've got lunch, Sri Lankan food, American food, more speeches people can speak when you get a chance to speak here, and we've got a video. Anything else? And we'll see you there.
Amen.
When I go. Know me, I'm Patsy. I'm happy to have this opportunity to talk to everyone about my beloved sister, Judy, from a different mother and father. I first met Judy when I arrived in Los Angeles as a newlywed in 1968. She was then married to my husband's brother, Chandran, and lived in Tropical Way. She had 3 little children, and I thought they were so cute. And for a few months we stayed there till we got settled, so to speak, because my husband was like to roam around, house to house. She had a job at Beneficial Standard Insurance, where she worked, and she used to make me peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for lunch. And I had never tasted this terrible peanut butter that got stuck on the palate. Anyway, she was so sweet, she knew that I couldn't cook and I would have starved at work, so she was very kind. And I didn't even know how to boil it, but that's not about me. I could not understand anyway. She later got a job for my mother too at Beneficial. And she helped many, many people to get settled in this country. And then, of course, she got divorced from her husband, but she was still very much a part of his family. She never divorced the family. And she loved the Rutnam family, not only the brothers and sisters, aunties and uncles, cousins, second cousins, third cousins, and kissing cousins. Wait, she was so giving, did not expect much in return. Later I realized that she was on her own, she couldn't drive later on. But after that we met many, many times at all celebrations, and she had her own career, and I had my own career. But then, after I retired from my job, I had a lot of time on my hands, and I found out that my sister was living very close to me. So then we got together and we became very, very good friends. Then we used to chat because we had the same relations and the same people, and then we chatted and we chatted and laughed at everybody. She was very, very good at her job. She was very professional, and she got a job at St. Nicholas, and that suited her very well because she was able to use all her expertise to help people. And they used to come to her because most of them didn't speak English, and during the time that they had to fill out forms, and they used to come at all hours of the day and night, and she never complained because she loved that job. When she went up north to live with her other son that year, I was so sad, but then we still kept in touch. And by the way, Judy, I have to tell you this. She was very proud of her beautiful, beautiful Hollywood legs. She always told me how people admired her legs. And believe me, she didn't have a single varicose vein, even when she was old. Judy, I love you, and I'll never, never forget you. And rest in peace.
I'll be done. Anyway, I just want to bring one recollection in my life. During a very rough time in our lives, that's my siblings, Patty, Iswari. We came to the United States in 1966. That was 2 years after our mother died. And so, having said that, she was a big part of our reconciliation, getting over our deep situation at that time, our mental state of that time. So she helped us get over a lot of stuff at that time. And you know, really, she's not a sister-in-law. She's like Patsy said, she's a sister. And we always thought of her like our own blood, you know. So she was awesome, and we miss her.
When my mom got sick the first time, and even sick a lot, Mom, sorry, multiple times, she always showed up, not just for my mom. She showed up for my brother and myself. And she always took me aside and had a conversation starting. The first time. Starting from the very first time. And I think that's when I realized Auntie Judy didn't just show up because she wanted to be there and cheer for you necessarily. It was also her way of showing us that we mattered, and her way of building us up. No matter what, if you saw her, I think she complimented you in some way. And she just wanted you to know. She wanted at all times to be building you up. And I think that was a big way that she did that for a lot of us, by showing up. But we love her. We'll miss you, Auntie.
I ever did. I ended up playing there a lot, as a side note. But first time I booked it, I invited everybody. Yes, a lot of people were here. That's right. And so I was a little nervous, but I was excited. And we were getting ready to go on, and we were on stage. The curtain's closed. We're on the stage. We know the crowd is on the other side. It's very exciting. You can hear the murmur of the crowd. I took my position where I go, and I was ready for that curtain to open. I worked hard to be a rock and roll musician. I was ready for just a whole row, when that curtain opens, of female rock fans at my feet. I was ready for my moment. I had my guitar, I had my amps. I knew when that curtain opened, I could win off all these girls that were going to be right there. And we started, and that curtain opened, and there was my mom right there. Cheering away, very excited. Giving me her full support. It was great. It was not what I had anticipated. It was great.